No. Oh, I'm gonna pour it on my computer. Oh. No! Good morning, BB.
Oh, it's too early.
It is too early. It feels too early this morning.
Yeah, it does. Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And, baby, what is sleep?
I don't know her. I don't know her at all.
Dagger is digging
Dagger
20
is
feet down into your carpet.
currently happening. Okay, so Anthony.
So, Saige.
Last night, I lay down to go to bed, and I noticed,
and you said, as I lay me down to sleep, like you always do.
Of course. And I noticed that the smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detector was going off in my bedroom. Not going off; it was like a battery dying.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, way different.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of it doing a beep, it quacks.
Oh, fun.
It says quack.
Now, is that more or less annoying? I mean, I guess it's less annoying, but it's
in my opinion, pretty bad.
But it's still bad. I mean, it's friendlier, I guess.
And it's every 30 seconds. I counted. Okay.
Huh.
And that was fine. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to sleep. I'll deal with it tomorrow. And then, Anthony.
Yes.
It talked. My smoke alarm and carbon monoxide combination detector, it spoke to me last night at midnight.
What did it say to you, Saige?
I couldn't understand it. It sounded like someone talking through a walkie-talkie, and every time that it spoke, I had like a video on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to stop it really quickly to understand what it was saying because it happened twice, Anthony.
It's probably telling you to change that battery, Saige.
I understand, but why the fuck did it speak?
I'm trying to think of whether that is more or less terrifying than the traditional loud beep.
Way more terrifying. It's like a muffled person over a walkie-talkie and like, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Huh.
And the first time I
now,
heard it, I was not in the room. I was not in my bedroom. I was on my couch.
So you thought somebody was whispering to you from afar?
Because someone was, and someone was the smoke alarm and carbon monoxide combination detector in my bedroom.
Now, I've known you for a little while now.
Uh-huh.
And I remember coming over to your last place, and your smoke and carbon monoxide alarm was just beeping, and I said, Saige, what is that beeping? Is that your smoke alarm? And you go, yeah, probably. It's been going for like 2 days. And I said, excuse me? You're like, yeah, I just, I don't know. I don't want to figure it out. I was like, it just needs a battery. You're like, yeah. And it would just be, and we would be having this conversation, and you'd be like, yeah, I don't want to figure it out. Beep! Saige, isn't this annoying you? Like, doesn't this bother? Yeah, I mean, it bothers me a little bit, but it doesn't go off that beep! Dagger's like this every time it goes off.
I'm going to tell you, this is so much worse. This was so much worse. And I couldn't reach it to get it off because it's on the ceiling. In my last apartment, that was fair. It was down at like the bottom of the wall.
It was literally right down to the bottom. I was like, do you have a battery?
On the ceiling, and I couldn't reach it. And I can't find the step ladder that we used for painting. Can't find it for the fucking life of me. And I don't know any chairs.
Now, so what did you do? You just went to sleep with the
I slept on my couch.
Where the carbon monoxide alarm couldn't get you?
Yeah. It spoke, Anthony. Have you ever had a smoke alarm talk to you?
Do you need me to change the battery in your smoke alarm while I'm here?
No, it's fine. I can do it.
Because I will.
You're not going to be able to reach it either.
No, but I'll probably look for the ladder for more than 2 minutes.
The point at hand here was the talking, Anthony.
Yes, the talking. What now? But did you ever figure out what it says?
No, it did it twice, and I couldn't understand it. It was all muffled and spooky. It was.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm tired.
It's like, ooh, change the battery. Woo.
Good morning, BBs. Let's talk about the news.
Good morning, BBs.
Y'all in chat get it. Thank you.
I didn't sleep great, but I didn't have a haunted smoke detector.
Yeah. Did any of your appliances start talking to you?
I did have 2 nights ago the power in the building surged for just a second. So it did that thing where like everything's got to beep at you once.
Yeah.
So like everything I owned beeped at me once, and I was like, and like Dagger was looking at me like everything is beeping. I hate beeping.
All right. So do we want to talk about Netflix first or Netflix last? There's a lot of it.
There's a lot of Netflix.
You want to end there then?
I mean, yeah, we can end. Let's end on the Netflix. There's a lot of other stuff going on.
About Dungeons and Dragons.
I know you do. I thought maybe you wanted to talk about that first.
I love talking about Dungeons and Dragons. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Man, I'll tell you what. I feel like 5th edition was just the new cool thing, but it's been fucking years.
Yeah, dude.
So many years.
I've been on 5th edition the entire time I've been playing.
And you're over 20 years old.
Yes, Anthony. Full of shit this morning. You're gonna knock your stool over.
Don't knock my stool over.
Anyways, everybody. So, at the Future of D&D panel at D&D Celebration, we got a very interesting and vague announcement that said a new edition of D&D would be coming in 2024.
Wow.
This is very interesting because we don't know if it's 5.5 or if it's 6. There's a lot of speculation. My personal opinion is it's 5.5. I think that...
Do you think they'll do that? Or do you think they'll... They're much savvier. They're much more savvy with branding now.
Than they were at 3.5?
Than they were at like a 3.5. And I wonder if, because now we're talking about Wizards, you know what I mean? And they're good with the branding. And I feel like a 5.5 makes it sound even scarier for new players.
See, I think a 6 sounds scarier for new players. It's a whole new edition.
Oh, 6 is like, it's new, you can start over, this is a brand new thing.
Yeah.
5.5 is like, it's all the stuff you were afraid to learn before, but more of it. You know what I mean?
See, I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I think that there are so many people that play and that have learned to play on 5. That's obviously been the, since D&D launched, the most successful and most accessible iteration of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
That I think it would scare a lot of people to jump to 6.
It
If they're
could.
like, fuck, I just learned how to play 5.
I know, but
I
like...
just learned how to play 5th edition.
The messaging to core players could be like, hey, it's very compatible with 5.
Right.
Whereas the branding could be like, look new. You know what I mean? Because it really is all just branding, whether they call it 5.5 or 6. You know what I mean?
Well,
because I don't think they're gonna do an entire core up overhaul. I mean, what's your feeling? I feel like they're gonna tweak some things. I feel like there may be some. They've added so much ancillary content that they're probably going to rebalance for that stuff to fit better. Because some stuff is just broken. Some characters you bring in and some classes and stuff you bring in, you're like, whoa, this is fucking...
Don't nerf the paladins. Don't do it. Don't nerf the paladins. Yes, I think that... Interesting. I think that there is some progress that could be... There was a lot of progress made on 5th edition in taking out a lot of the racism in the rules. But I still think there's further we could go, most definitely. I think there will be a lot of variation to race, and... My personal dreams for it is that we move into the lineage and stuff like that we saw with Reborn and stuff like that, and move a little bit away from the direction of race in D&D.
Now, I'm not undercutting the importance of that because it is hugely important. But that's more lore messaging and copy than it is mechanical, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But that's still a foundational rule book of you choose your race in your class. And adjusting that would be something that I see them potentially adjusting for the next edition.
Yeah, for sure. And that's more of a 5.5 move. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a big difference. Race, the choose your race as the foundational first step of making a character has been around since the first edition of D&D.
Yeah, yes.
I think that would be a big difference.
It's a big difference if you're a player, and you're familiar with it, and you're familiar with the history of D&D. But mechanically, it wouldn't be huge. You know what I mean? Mechanically, it's a 5.5 difference.
And then we have, exactly as people are bringing up in the chat, the like idea of evil races.
Oh, an evil
which
race,
is deeply
yeah.
problematic.
Yeah.
You know, there have been takes on the orcs. There are problematic issues, obviously, around the drow. That I could see them fixing things like that. And that's why I think it's a 5.5.
And we're just, you know, we're at a point now particularly with genre fiction, like whether you're looking at it in games or in books or in comics or whatever, we're at a point in genre fiction where like our favorite thing to do is be like, see that's supposed to be a bad guy. Now let's make you feel things, and now let's show you why this is a character. You know what I mean? So like I think as players and just as people who consume media, we're a little beyond that too. You know, the black and white idea of like, that's bad race.
Yeah, of
that's
course.
bad creature.
Right.
You know?
They did say that the new core rule books would be backwards compatible with existing 5th edition books.
I think it's a 6.
Yeah?
I think it's a 6, and they say it's backwards compatible. Don't worry, all your stuff comes over.
Interesting. All right. Well,
I think
we're
that's
making
what I
our
think.
Predictions now. I think it's a 5.5 to make it comfortable and easily identifiable that 5th edition module books and like all of the kind of like ancillary books that surround the core rules.
Yo, those books
still
is
apply.
expensive. You don't want to buy all new books. They're expensive and they're beautiful and they like line. You just like.
I just got the special edition cover of Witchlight.
Ooh. You love those special edition covers.
I love those special edition covers so much.
Londell26 brings up something very interesting, and it's something that we've talked about a lot, particularly amongst the failed save group. I think stories out of combat are much more interesting than stories in combat.
Okay.
Combat itself is interesting, but it's interesting in a different way. And I think there are so many characters and character types that would benefit from an XP system out of combat, a much more robust way to give XP out of combat, right? If I'm a smooth talker and that's all I want to do and I want to avoid fighting, you know what I mean? Like
XP, interesting, because we don't use XP.
We don't use XP. I mean, we don't use XP on failed save, but it's more, we use kind of more like the milestone sort of like, you did a big thing.
We're milestone leveling. And pretty much every game I've ever personally played in has been milestone leveling. I know very, very few people who actually track progress.
Yeah, but even then it's
in a
like
role-playing game.
But even then it's like, oh, you just did the big fight. Have a level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, a milestone.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's always, you just did the big fight. You just did the big set piece event. And it's like, man, my character doesn't do those. My character is a fucking
but
flute
you'd still
player.
get the level even if you were the flute player in the fight.
Yeah, but you don't feel like you don't feel as connected to it, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that like I just think that like there should be, and I mean, even though we don't get crunchy and a lot of the people we know don't get crunchy, I still know a lot of groups that actually do XP. And if you do XP,
really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as many
aren't
anymore.
Playing Pathfinder?
Yeah. And it's just sort of like, you know, some people are into the crunchy math of it and they love that.
Go to Pathfinder.
Get out of here.
Actually, no, nobody play Pathfinder. I'm just going to say it. The company's like deeply problematic and there's been a lot of stuff exposed about the company behind Pathfinder recently.
Yeah.
Don't.
Anacron Topian Prime says Vox Machina. Yeah, Vox Machina did XP, but I think that was the last Critical Role thing that did XP. I don't think they've done XP since, have they?
I have no idea. I'm not caught up on Critical Role, but there are people who do it.
For people who want to do it,
but it is, you know, it's a system that exists.
It's a system that exists for people that want to do it. For people who've been playing D&D for a really long time and are used to the XP or like the XP of it. I just wish there was a way to get XP other than stabbing somebody. You know, I want XP for doing fun shit. And I want there to be a codified system for that.
All right.
You know, that's all.
I think that would... I don't know if they do it. I understand wanting it. I don't know if I see them doing it for the sake of it would add crunch. And they are continually making D&D more accessible.
Yeah.
And adding things like a complicated like XP rules system to go along with role play would probably be viewed as a deterrent potentially for new players. I don't know. That's just we're just making predictions. I understand wanting it, and I would love to have that for people.
And you know, we're not game designers. That's for wizards to figure out.
No, but we do play a
That's for-
lot of Dungeons.
That's
and
for
Dragons.
literal wizards to figure out.
I'm a big old D&D fan. There are a lot of people comparing the announcement of this. The only backwards compatible book in the past was 3.5 to 3.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Or that could be a new system they're putting in place where they're like, hey, 5th edition was so fucking successful, we want to make sure. And they released so many books.
Yeah.
I actually don't know because I started on 5th edition, and if anybody in the live studio audience knows, I would love to know. 5th edition has to be the one that has the most companion books, right? It has to be the edition that has.
I
the
mean,
most, 'cause they're
it's the
releasing
most
them-
it's the most popular it's been right
3
now.
to 3.5 has more. Interesting.
It's the most popular it's
There's
been
so many fucking books.
in my lifetime, right? Like D&D right now is the most popular it's been in my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think, with 3 and 3.5, they had a lot of books. They had like almost too many. And it was from that old school thing of like D&D was overwhelming,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things they tried to like mess with between 3 and 3.5.
Right.
But there were so many books.
That's because Gary Gygax wanted to keep people out of the hobby.
He was it was stay out of this. It's for us, and it's crunchy, and it's weird, and it's impenetrable.
And it was told
You
to be
can't have it.
not for girls.
You can't have it.
Specifically.
And so it ran with the history of that, and it ran with that kind of built into its DNA for a very long time.
I understand the 3.5 was after Gygax. I was talking about the fact that there were
yeah.
that 3.5 was already simplifying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. Like we just said, that undercurrent ran throughout it for a while. But now it's, now it's much more, it's much simpler. It's much easier to jump into. I certainly, I see more and more people getting into it than I've ever seen, which is lovely.
Yeah. And it's a different kind of people as well. It's not relegated to such a niche hobby.
Yeah. I think there was, when I was a kid, it was after Satanic Panic, but it hadn't really rebounded as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think the reason there were more books is they're just like the people who were into it. That was like, it's like now the people who were into it were so into it, and they'd been so into it for so
Whereas
long.
now you have a lot of people, you might be talking to someone somewhere and they're like, oh yeah, I play D&D with my friends on Saturdays. And it
Yeah.
might be a casual hobby that a lot of people are into.
Well, and I think the other thing is like because it was so much crunchier, like you basically had to have the books. If you wanted to add something, you kind of you had to. Whereas like it's much easier, I think, to do homebrew stuff now.
It is. And I gotta say too, credit where credit is due, D&D Beyond is a huge contributor to Dungeons and Dragons being an accessible game.
I love Beyond. I love Beyond.
Obviously we work with D&D Beyond sometimes, but we are in no way being paid by D&D Beyond today. The accessibility is incomparable, in my opinion, of having access to the books, having a DM that can just share the information, being able to go through drop downs and have descriptions of everything there without being like, shit, okay, I get to page 49.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not just that, but
Over
even
here filling out a paper character sheet.
yeah, when we're doing stuff on failed save, it's so nice because it's so nice to be using Beyond because if you have to roll a particular I do a lot of monk shit, and then Gina was doing a lot of paladin stuff, there's a lot
I play Paladin on Saturdays.
Yeah, you play Paladin, and so it's really crunchy. Some of that Paladin stuff gets really crunchy, and it's nice to just tell Beyond, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And have all the dice roll for you. Some people I like the feeling of rolling the dice.
Same.
But
I
if
like
I'm
the
doing
tactile
something
things.
really crunchy, my anxiety about holding things up and doing math in my head is not as fun, isn't worth the fun of rolling the dice.
I get that.
It depends on how intense it is. But yeah, D&D Beyond has helped a lot.
I think it's made a huge difference, which is very, very cool. But the Future of D&D panel also teased the release of 2 classic settings in 2022 and a 3rd classic setting on the calendar for 2023. Now, if they're talking about releasing books for 5th edition in 2023, and I know they're going to be backwards compatible,
You think it's going to be 5.5? I could be convinced either way. I think it's always nice to do something clean and something even Destiny 2, which is Destiny 1.5. It was this is Destiny 2. And we're like, no, it's not, but you fixed Destiny. So good.
Good, we'll take it.
You know, like.
I would love to know from y'all in the chat what you think those classic settings might be coming to 5th edition.
Spelljammer. Spelljammer. Bring back Spelljammer. I never got to play a campaign with Spelljammer. I want a magical flying air spaceship in space.
I'm like, you could have magical flying airships in like
In
Eberron.
space.
It's not in space, but you could have a flying, like you could fly in Eberron. You ever played in Eberron?
No.
I think you'd enjoy Eberron.
Okay. You know what I really enjoy? Spelljammer.
Yeah. Dragonlands. We've got Grekov.
They did hint at Spelljammer. They did.
Yeah, and Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, that made me very excited.
Dark Sun, interesting. Planescape, a lot of interesting ones. If you're watching this on YouTube later, also leave a comment and let us know what you think it might be or what you would hope it would be.
How exciting.
How exciting.
This is like it is. It's a very big deal. And I have I have a moratorium. I'm not allowed to buy any more fancy books. You know that. I have a moratorium on that.
Oh.
So I've been doing D&D Beyond for my books, but I just don't have any.
Anthony.
That's the library. They're telling me I'm not allowed to buy books. They're saying come to the library, Anthony. So I haven't been buying all the fancy books, but the idea of a brand new, like I just have the core stuff, the idea of a whole new system with whole new fancy books, maybe I could start, But
the problem is it's backwards compatible, so all the 5th edition books are going to be relevant modules.
I know. I sort of have the same problem with it that I have with my regular book collections. I look at my bookshelf and then I look at the things that I have on my Kindle or my iPad and I'm like, I wish some of these were physical books.
Yeah, I get that.
So I could put them on my shelf and look at them and be like, I'm glad I own that book.
And I do regularly.
That's a weird impulse.
I have all of the core books, your basics of your like Monsters Manual and your Xanathar, and like Xanathar and etc. And then I have all of the recent modules, but there's a lot of like
the in-between stuff.
There's a lot of the older stuff that I don't have of 5e.
You started getting when they started doing the fancy covers, right?
No, they've been doing the fancy covers.
Right.
I think that I have everything back to Baldur's. Yeah, to Descent into Avernus.
Okay.
To Descent into Avernus. I was gonna say the other one, but I think I have everything back to that. That's about it. But there was a bunch of stuff before that. I'm still gonna buy them at some point.
Could be anything.
I like it.
What else is going on in the world?
A bunch of stuff.
I want to talk about this. This is very interesting. This just popped up. BattlEye, the anti-cheat software, has just joined the easy anti-cheat announcement. Whoa! Ah! It was a lag. It was a delay. Now they know everything.
What do we do? We're gonna have to kill him. All right. Yeah.
We gotta go.
Okay. Dagger, come on.
Come on.
Come on, buddy. Come here.
Come on. No more show.
No more show.
It was a good run. One boy.
He's doing pretty well with being held this morning.
Yeah, he's got that. Ugh. But he's doing all right with it. He hasn't seen you in a few days. He missed you. He went bounding out of the apartment. He knows anytime we leave that early.
Someone said, who is Saige holding?
The boy.
The boy?
Dagger Cannonball Thunderfang. The boy. And the producer of this show.
Anyways, anti-cheat stuff. What's going on?
BattlEye has just joined Easy Anti-Cheat by supporting Steam Deck, which means They are now easy to support on Linux. This is, of course, still something that developers have to turn on within their games. They have to add it. But these are the two main anti-cheat softwares being added to Steam Deck. Now, this is huge. The biggest thing that was going to keep a lot of AAA, especially online multiplayer games, off of Steam Deck was the lack of anti-cheat. And just within the last week, we have seen both Epic and BattlEye say, yeah, we're going to add it. This is going to happen. And there's a reason this is interesting. Everything Steam does is a Trojan horse, right? Valve doesn't want to be a maker of handheld software or handheld hardware any more than they wanted to be a maker of super tiny form factor gaming PCs. So why are they doing this? They're doing it because they are watching Microsoft's cloud. They're watching Amazon. They're watching Google Stadia.
Is anyone watching Google Stadia?
No.
What
but
are you doing there?
But I don't know.
Okay.
But it's interesting because Valve just wants to be on every screen in your house, but they want other people to kind of do that for them.
Right.
You
but
know?
they started to charge into innovation into that and, potentially accessibility and reach of developers other than Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo.
So right now, Steam is the biggest thing going on PC, and they're doing really well. But what happens in another version or two of Windows when everything public facing has to go through the Windows App Store the same way you do on a Mac?
Right.
And then, or Microsoft makes it so any microtransactions they got to give a percentage of, right? So all of this stuff is something that Steam has to think about, something that Valve thinks about all the time. What happens when Microsoft wants to surface the Xbox store way more than they surface anything else, and it becomes harder and harder to install Steam, et cetera, et cetera. If they can get all of this anti-cheat stuff, if they can get everybody supporting SteamOS, they can put SteamOS on anything.
Yep.
And they can put SteamOS in the cloud.
Right.
And then Steam is now a cloud gaming service.
Very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Oh, look, little hearts fell in there. It's cute.
What did what?
Little hearts fell in there. No.
Good work.
No.
Welcome
bad.
to job.
No, bad.
Hello to meeting.
Anthony.
Very business.
Anthony, no.
Does business now.
Anthony.
Hello. One business, please.
You have to give me my finger back. I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah, so they're trying to keep themselves alive, but not just alive. They want to stay dominant in games.
Yeah.
And everybody's been creeping up on them. Hey, I log into the Epic Game Store once a week to redeem my free games.
Yeah.
So I guess they're coming. I guess they're coming for you, Steam.
I don't know if Epic is coming for Steam quite yet, but there are.
But I don't play the fork knife. If I
Yeah.
played the fork knife, I'd be opening up the Epic Game Store every week. And
I open Epic every week for Ooblets.
Ooblets. How's
That I do.
Ooblets doing?
It's an excellent game.
Yeah,
And everything they've added has just been more excellent.
it's so good.
Can't recommend it enough.
Love the Cordingleys. Love Ooblets. So glad that Ooblets is continuing to do well. So anyway, keep an eye on all this Steam stuff. It's very interesting. I've got a Steam Deck coming. We'll see. We'll see what it's like.
I didn't order it because I want to see what yours is like.
I know.
And then decide.
I know. We were staring each other down. We're like, one of us is doing this. We have no impulse control.
Right.
One of us is doing this.
And we have slightly different impulse control.
Yeah. I like a little handheld gadget.
Uh-huh.
God, I love a gadget.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
Yeah.
So many.
This is a new shirt. It says Bad Girls Club.
Yeah.
And I buy a lot of games every week.
You buy a lot of games every week. For somebody who doesn't play many games every week,
That's not true.
you don't have a lot of time.
I don't have a lot of time.
That's what I'm saying. For
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't have time to play a lot of games every week, you buy a lot of games.
I do buy a
You just clicky.
I do clicky.
You love an online shopping.
I do. In other business news.
Oh shit! It's business. Good meeting to you, sir.
Happy business to doing. Discord is trying something interesting. Discord has launched the test on very, very select servers. A YouTube integration.
Interesting.
This is like Netflix's Watch Party. This feature is called Watch Together, where you can watch YouTube videos together. And I think this is excellent.
Yo, this is how half of my gatherings wind up.
Yeah.
With everybody just like queuing up different YouTube videos.
Right?
That's all.
I think this is really interesting. Obviously, Discord has cracked down quite a bit on communal watching. I used to host movie nights in Discord where I would just be like, all right, I'm going to screen capture and I'm going to play something and we're going to watch movies over our Discord server. And can't do that anymore. It blacks out the screen. It'll mute audio if you have Netflix open, if you have Amazon open. It pretty much knows all of the streaming services. It would have to be a locally downloaded file.
It fucking sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, we did so much of this over the pandemic. Would have been very useful. Agreed. I'm like, ooh, I wish you had thought of this YouTube integration a little sooner.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was probably maybe a deal with YouTube that needed to go through. Or
Yeah,
something.
I think it was more rights negotiation stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, because we were doing that too. I mean, so many people were doing that where it's like, we're watching a movie, we're watching a TV show, we're all jumping on Discord and watching.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, man. Would
So
have been nice to have Netflix.
Right now it's available on a very limited number of servers, but reports say that testing is expected to broaden over the next few weeks and hopes to open it up to everyone by the end of October, which is exciting. This is not the first test they've done of this. About a year ago, apparently they tried a small test of it then and then just kind of like dropped it. But this time it's getting a lot more priority and has an expected launch date.
Interesting. I love that.
Very exciting.
Yeah. In further business and legal news, this is a huge one. It's about, oh man, it's so exciting because it's about copyright.
Love to talk about copyright.
Ooh, there's nothing more exciting than copyright, but this is very fascinating. So Marvel has made a motion to stop the termination of copyright on a bunch of their characters created by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Gene Colan. So basically the way it works is you can have copyright on something for so long, and then the creators can petition to have a termination of copyright and say, hey, you've had your fun, you've had our IP for long enough.
Yep.
Time to give it back to the creators who made it. Now, this is super huge because the characters are not small.
No. Those Marvel heroes?
But these are not even, it's not like, I want the rights to Sleepwalker back.
No.
You better give me Slapstick because I created
Man.
Yeah, this is, Steve Ditko was like, hey, Steve Ditko's estate was like, yo, time to give Spider-Man back. Marvel was like, what? Yeah, time to give Spider-Man back, thank you.
What?
We're going to take Iron Man back, thank you. We're going to take Black Widow, thanks very much. Like,
you should.
We're going to take
They
all
don't deserve her. Marvel does not deserve Black Widow. They did her so fucking dirty. That movie was excellent and 8 years too late.
It's true. So this is very fascinating because if this happened, everybody's like, and I saw so many, like, look, we don't like to be mean to people here. It's not what we do.
Of course not.
But some of these idiot neckbeards, man, on the internet
Oh, I'm fine with being mean to them.
were like, yo, you can't let them do this. They're going to, once if they do it, all of your favorite characters are going to disappear. Really just mouths full of boot leather. like, if this happens, all the Marvel movies will go away. We can't let them do this. Touch grass. Touch grass. You dummies. Steve Ditko died basically penniless in the same New York apartment he lived in for over 40 years. He also died sort of a Randian objectivist libertarian, but I think that has something to do with having his shit taken away by Marvel. But like, later Steve Ditko was not the coolest. But listen, these people created, like, listen, everybody's like, oh, and Stan Lee created this, and Stan Lee, and so much respect for Stan Lee. Number one, yeah, once the movies and TV shows started coming out, people were hiring him to do cameos and stuff because Stan Lee made no money off of those characters when he left Marvel.
Right.
Not only that, Stan Lee kind of screwed over these other guys and said, I'm going to make more no money than you. I'll make the most no money, Steve Ditko. It's mine now. Take that, Gene. So these characters deserve, or these creators and their estates deserve a chunk of this. These characters are making billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Billions of dollars. You can't throw Steve Ditko's family something.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild that they aren't making anything. It's got to be absolutely bananas to watch these characters thrive in a way that superheroes never have.
Now,
and have been, the family of someone who created it and be like, well, good for them, I guess. I just want to point out my favorite comment in chat for today.
Yeah.
Play Games Patty said, I want Spider-Man to date Cthulhu. Put it in public domain.
Put it in public domain. Do it.
I think that's funny.
Do it. I just want to see a character that was created by Jewish men, who's an analog for Jewish men, kiss a fucking anti-Semitic god. I want to see him make out.
Fuck it.
Deal with that, you anti-Semites. So this is a huge thing. DC went through something like this years back with Jerry Siegel and Joel Shuster over Superman.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Siegel and Shuster lost. They lost big. What they got was created by Jerry Siegel and Joel Shuster. And
did they get any money?
I mean, I think they're brought. I think it's considered good form to bring them on as consultants when there's a Superman project and you give them a little. Same way Stan Lee was like consultant, creative producer. It's considered good form to hand a little money to the old man, but it's not cool, and it wasn't enough. Now the problem with this suit is the exact same lawyers are representing the exact same interests. Marvel has the same lawyers who won for DC. Ditko and Stan Lee and Larry Lieber and Gene Colan have the same lawyer that went up against DC.
Now, I understand Marvel's motivation in being like, let's get those guys. Why would the estates of the creators use the same lawyers? Like, I get, right, though?
I think the idea is
they learned their lesson?
There are very few lawyers who have this sort of specific knowledge at this level.
Uh-huh.
And like, maybe, hey, yeah, maybe he does it this time. I know how I screwed up last time.
Right?
I mean, so it's kind of tricky. But it would be nice. It would be nice to see this happen. And the thing is, Disney Marvel wouldn't lose full ownership of these characters.
Right.
If this suit went through. It would just be shared ownership of these characters. And, I understand the business reasons for not wanting to give, 25 to 50% of everything you make on a character when you're making $1 billion.
Yeah.
But like, man, creators, I mean, things are a lot better for creators now in comics.
Yeah.
And a lot of people now know that like when you create something, like the rule number 1 is like hold on to your IP. Like hold on to your IP. So like,
Good luck. I hope it goes great for you. Hey, let's talk about TV stuff. We got a lot of TV stuff.
there is a lot of TV stuff.
We got from Naughty Dog yesterday. First look at the Last of Us series coming to HBO.
This is how most of the game looked.
It does look like just a screen grab from the game.
This is how most of the game looked. If I saw that as a thumbnail,
I'd be like, a screenshot from the game.
I was like, oh yeah, somebody's playing The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
But no, that's our boy Pedro.
That's his neck.
That's Pedro
I don't
neck.
remember who's playing Ellie. I don't
Me neither.
recall. I feel like I should, and I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, look, you should we should, but at the same time, it's probably only one of the first few things that she's done.
Of course,
So,
always fucking.
Whereas like Pedro's everywhere.
Always fucking neck beards in the responses. Ellie does not look like the real in the game Ellie. What the fuck are you thinking? Shut up.
Hey, touch grass.
Hey, Drew P. Shut up.
It's
You
so weird.
personally.
It's so weird because you're looking at a ponytail.
You're
And
looking at a ponytail.
You're looking at a ponytail and yelling. Like, come on.
Imagine.
Come on.
Bella Ramsey?
Bella Ramsey. Oh, from Game of Thrones. Oh, it's the little.
Yeah, oh, it's
the little
Ramsey.
Mormont.
Yeah, it's the little Mormont.
It's
Yeah,
the little
yeah.
Mormont. Oh, shit.
It's funny because Ramsey, I was like, Ramsey, what? Yeah,
Oh, shit.
that's
It's
right.
Baby Mormont.
I remember that. We talked about it when it got announced.
Ah, I love her.
She's gonna fucking be awesome.
That was such a severe child.
And here's the thing, though. They have nothing to say about Pedro Pascal not looking like Joel. Pedro Pascal doesn't look exactly like Joel.
No, he Mandalorian. He be anything. He tough man.
He man.
He tough
That's
man.
It. Is there like, yeah, but she doesn't look like she has the fake cartoon features of the video game I play.
Whatever. She does.
She doesn't look like a video game character to me.
Whatever. She looks great.
She doesn't look like the fake little girl that I like. Fuck off.
She doesn't look like a ripoff of Elliot Page that Elliot Page had to kind of like sue for.
Just saying. But yeah, as expected, the replies to this are tragic.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't think they're two of the characters that never were in the same place in Game of Thrones. So they never actually probably met on set.
Oh, that's funny. I'm excited. I love Baby
stuff
Mormont.
like that.
I'm very excited.
They did sue. They did sue over that. I don't know if they actually went to court over it, but there was definitely like some legal filings about it.
I'm not familiar with how far he went with it.
Yeah, he was basically like, you know, that's me, right?
Like, that's my face.
You know, that's actually 100% me.
Yeah.
You know that I have a huge problem with my likeness being in video games these days after what fucking David Cage did to me.
So anyways, that was the first look at The Last of Us. I think it's going to be great. I'm very excited about it. I don't see any fucking reason not to be at this point.
No.
I also think that potentially The Last of Us will be a better setting for me as a show than it was as a game.
Yes.
It's not it for me as a game.
That was one of those games that I was definitely playing to get to the next part of the story.
Same.
Like, I definitely, because especially in the first one, we've talked a little bit about this before, especially in the first one, there was nothing super groundbreaking about that gameplay.
Yeah.
It was very Naughty Dog.
But it was groundbreaking in story.
Yeah,
and
it was
story.
story and technology. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to know what happened to those characters.
Yeah.
And so this is great. A lot of people are hearing about this for the first time. And just so you know, this is Naughty Dog is working directly with HBO. Neil Druckmann is, I believe, an executive producer and a co-writer on the pilot, working with the creative team who made Chernobyl. So I think this is a very good match creatively.
Yeah.
And it's coming. It's getting closer and closer.
All right, let's talk about the Netflix Global Fan Event, partially hosted by Markia McCarty, which is very exciting. Markia is, of course, one of the cast members on Trouble in Techburg, and just a lovely friend of the channel. And I was very, very excited. She got to announce some of the Witcher stuff.
Should we call Markia and see if it's TUDUM or TUDUM?
No.
Okay.
I don't think we should.
All right.
I don't think we should call anyone.
TUDUM. TUDUM. They both sound right to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
TUDUM. 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 Tulum.
It's
Tulum,
okay. Either way, it's supposed to sound like the noise that Netflix makes when it opens. We're moving on. I'm begging. It's supposed to be like the noise of when Netflix opens.
So, a lot of huge notices. Netflix did an official post and recap on their site, and then of course there's a bunch of stuff on others because there were smaller announcements that they didn't put in the event that were also part of the day. First of all, they opened up with an exclusive clip of Red Notice, which is that big old movie that we've been talking about.
The huge budgeted film that has every actor you've ever seen in anything that got paid the most amount of money in that money.
This is The Rock is an FBI investigator. Ryan Reynolds is the world's greatest cat burglar or something, and they are teaming up to try to take down Gal Gadot, who is cooler than them both.
That's also just true.
Yeah, I mean, good plot.
Well,
it sounds like a more action-y Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and I love Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Do you ever see Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
I have not seen it, but I'm familiar.
Oh, I love Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
The trailer is mostly just like a little like spy combat scene. It's cute. It's fine. They got to show off Gal Gadot doing fucking
Gal Gadot stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, I can do stunts shit.
Just cool Zionist high kicks.
Right. I'm sure not. I'm not gonna say like she did all her own stunts. We know that's not true, but
she does a lot.
But she does a lot. She does cool shit, and she looks cool doing it.
We got a teaser for Stranger Things 4.
I haven't watched 3 yet.
3 got a little retro nostalgia fan servicey for me.
Interesting.
In parts and in places. It leaned a little too hard into like its pop culture refs. Particularly for one scene at the end that I think we all remember. But it was good. And I'm ready for that I'm ready for this 4.
Can we see that?
Let's take a look at it. Yeah.
Probably mute it because they're gonna play 80s music after this. Mute it.
Yeah.
Please.
Let me skip.
Okay, I'll just mute locally.
It's the Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
But I love this because we are now.
There's some captions on.
I don't think anybody's talking yet.
Okay.
It's just music. We are now in a new house, in a new place.
I have no idea what happened in 3, so I'm so lost.
In a new setting. There's nothing. I'm telling you, it's just music. I wish.
I literally just said it out loud.
Because so now you see they threw down the Ghostbusters backpack. We're back in the current time of the 80s.
Fascinating. The problem is Stranger Things licenses so much music. We can't play trailers on the show because then we get hit by the DMCA. They said regular score, no thank you.
But I love that this feels like they are, in 3 they did some stuff that hinted at the bigger supernatural world.
Which I'm very excited about. That was something I was always looking forward to with Stranger Things, was it becoming a larger story of what the fuck is going on.
Well, it was always like if that much activity is centered around this small town,
then what the hell else is going on?
Yeah.
If true, then what else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And in doing so, I love still the idea though that there's this huge, clearly it has to be, you have broken the foundational understanding of what is real, and there's all of this new stuff and all of these boundless possibilities, but it's viewed through the eyes of a bunch of middle schoolers.
There's an episode during season 3
That's
that
why Stranger Things lands for me.
a lot of people didn't enjoy that I really did, and I think you will as well when you watch it. That was very much like that, where it was like, we're just going to show you a little bit of this world and see how you feel. And a lot of people were like, I did not enjoy that. And I was like, no, I did.
Interesting.
No, I very much did. So, very exciting.
Welcome in, Raiders. My goodness, thank you. Also,
hello,
you're
Goodberry.
ending a stream at 9 a.m. It was too early for you today.
Hello, Goodberry. What were you doing?
Up so early
What
for?
are you doing? Don't do that to yourself. They got the trailer for the final season of Ozark. I fell off of Ozark, I think because it was too intense for me.
I never started it.
It's very good, but it was very intense. I was like, whoa. And it was one of those things that I always wanted to come back to. I did the same thing with Breaking Bad, where I watched the whole first season and I was like, woof. And I took a long time off because I was like, that is too real and too depressing.
Yeah.
And then season 2 came back and it was a little more like heightened.
Got it.
So it was easier for me to watch. But Ozark, very intense. Very intense. So this is Genius, which is 2 decades of behind-the-scenes footage of Kanye West. I am very excited for this.
I know that you are.
Kanye West.
Watch it.
Kanye West is my favorite brilliant train wreck. He really is. I'm endlessly fascinated, and I was such a huge Kanye fan for so long.
I have to disagree. I do not think he is a brilliant train wreck. I think that he is a struggling, mentally ill person that we're all going, whoa. It's like he sees something we don't. It's art. And I'm just like, no, the man is struggling.
He's very much struggling.
And he and people around him are probably in danger.
Yeah. The last few years in particular, it seems like the rails have come off and there is nobody looking out for him.
I was a big Kanye fan.
I was too.
First few albums, big Kanye fan. At this point, I don't like to call him a genius. I think that leads into the deeply
genius
flawed,
madness thing.
Yeah, the deeply flawed idea that like my mental illness makes me special, and like as a mentally ill person, it prevents people from getting treatment.
Yeah, no.
I know for a long time I was like, but if I'm not depressed, how will I make art?
He was better when he was in treatment. He was better when he was medicated. He was better when he had his family watching out for him. That's why everybody's like, I don't know why I don't like, Kanye's turned into such a dick, and also I don't like his new stuff. It's like, yes, yes, he needs to be in treatment. So I'm very interested in watching this and seeing like what kind of stuff, because you have to figure so much of his life was recorded.
Yeah.
And I wonder what there was. It was like,
I'm very intrigued to watch this. I do find this absolutely fascinating because I do think that it would be hard to have all of this footage and it not be a timeline of descent into a deep, deep place of struggle.
I genuinely think it's going to be a very sad story.
I think it is as well. It's been really interesting to see lately because we're getting these more like realistic approaches to telling celebrity stories, like with the stuff that we've gotten recently about Britney.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there was Framing Britney, and then there was the second part of it that just released like this week.
Did you watch any of it?
I did watch it.
Yeah.
It's just one episode. I thought there were multiple, but it's part of an ongoing New York Times series of different celebrities. The first part was more about how the media and how the press and the paparazzi treated her at her height.
Mm-hmm.
This one was entirely about the conservatorship, and it is... Whew. It was sad. It was a very, 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 very sad documentary.
Yeah.
As expected.
So yeah, I'm expecting something like that. Somebody sent me a trailer. There's like an Oasis documentary that's coming out.
Interesting.
Which is very weird. And the thing that I think is fascinating is the person who sent me this is a very big Oasis fan, or was a very big Oasis fan when we were growing up, and is just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're making this. And I'm like, cool. But he was like, what's fascinating is they had everything on video. Mm-hmm. They recorded their first practice session as a band, and it's there. It exists. You can watch it because they just knew. They were just those assholes who just knew that they were going to be famous. and they just like, and you know, there are a ton of those where it doesn't work out for them.
Right.
And they just have that first practice on tape and it's
Yeah.
the practice of the worst band ever.
Right.
But it's kind of fascinating just to see what people have self-documented in those situations.
Yeah. Especially for people that like, because in 15 to 20 years, that'll be everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody will have self-documented it.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
But
I feel very, very lucky that my younger, dumber years, the internet was not as proliferated as it is now, because holy shit.
I wish it was the case for me.
Let's talk about Bridgerton season 2.
I haven't watched the trailer.
Are you ready to see a little Bridgerton?
I'm ready to see a little Bridgerton. I love Bridgerton. I'm such a simp for Bridgerton. The only thing is my boy is not in it, which is really heartbreaking.
The Duke is not back. Reggie didn't come back.
I was there for the Duke. Like, I was there for the Duke.
I mean, so many people were.
I can hear you.
Pardon me, my lord.
I never got your name.
Oh. Biggie Brother
wondering
gets a
if you
love
did.
this
So you
season.
might
Yeah.
discern if my
Okay.
wit is acceptable, my manners genteel.
You were eavesdropping.
It was hardly an effort.
And I agree,
seeing
we
as you were
told the
proclaiming
story
your
of
many
Billions from
requirements for
last
a
time.
wife.
Yeah.
Loud enough for the entire party to hear.
You take issue
I
with my
mean-
requirements?
I take issue with any man who views women merely as chattels and breeding stock.
None of
The
that was
story
me.
is, I mean, the show isn't called The Duke.
When you manage
Right.
to
It's
find a
Bridgerton.
dragon
What's
But-
happening in
whatever
Bridgerton? But
makes
it
you
is the
think
Duke
she
show.
will accept your
Or it
say?
was.
Are
I
the
sent
young
you the link
ladies
to
of
the thing that's
London
happening in
truly
LA,
so
right?
easily won by a pleasing smile
Their
and
Netflix is
absolute
doing like a
You absolutely
Bridgerton
find my
tea.
smile pleasing.
They
I find your
are.
opinion of yourself entirely
It's like
too
how they
high.
did the
Your character
Stranger Things
is as
experience.
sufficient
Yeah,
as your
gosh.
horsemanship. I shall bid you
I'm so
good
bummed
night.
that I missed that Stranger Things experience.
Same.
It's sold out within moments.
Yeah, it did. I even had a friend hit me up and be like, I have extra tickets, and it was on a show night, and I couldn't do it.
Okay.
I'm intrigued by it. It gave us kind of like what we knew. We knew it was going to be following the brother, Brotherton.
Brotherton.
So like, I kind of landed this place like, yeah, cool. That's nice.
And from what I hear, what is her name from the first season? The lead. Duke Smoocher. You know, she smooched a Duke. She's
I will
still.
have that answer for
She
you
is still in the show.
Just a moment. I heard that she's just going to visit though.
Yeah, she just pops in.
Phoebe Danver? I don't know how to pronounce
Daphne Bridgerton.
Daphne Bridgerton.
Daphne will be popping back in to visit, but it's not her story anymore. So they'll be focusing on the other characters.
Yeah.
The
exactly.
Duke simply cannot make it. The Duke simply cannot make it. He sends his regards, but unfortunately, there is just too much for him to do in London.
Reggie John Page.
Reggie John Page, call her.
Look.
Reggie Jean Page, call her.
Look. All I'm saying is, Reggie John Page is one of those objectively beautiful people.
Just a handsome man.
Like, just
a handsome man. You just look at him and you're like, not fair.
it's not fair.
Not fair.
It's not fair. It's one of those people that's like so attractive that like even as someone who is partially attracted to men, less and less by the day, I'm still like, but I'm also jealous that you're that hot. You know what I mean?
Yes. 100%.
Because I'm not just attracted to him, I'm also jealous that he's that hot.
Yeah.
That he was just made that well.
It
feels a little imbalanced.
It's funny. People are like, you know, people ask me about like living in LA and going to like events where you see like movies and having beautiful people everywhere when you're in LA. Beautiful people are weird looking. When you see a beautiful person in person, it's like your reaction is not what you would think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
My reaction is not like, oh my God, so hot, so beautiful. My reaction is kind of like what you're talking about. It's like, that doesn't seem real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little angry and confused. You know what I mean? Like, why do you exist? How do you exist? What happened?
What happened?
What happened? Were you made in lab? Were you made in lab?
Oh, hello. There we go.
Like, come on.
Come on.
Illegal.
Offensively good looking, it feels like an attack. I agree.
That's illegal. Go to jail.
Hey.
Hey.
Straight to jail.
Straight
Right
to
away.
jail.
Right away.
You were late to return a library book. Straight to jail.
Anyways, he was also phenomenal in the show. Very talented actor. Very, very cool. But yeah.
It's
So,
exciting.
I will definitely watch the next season. I didn't think I was going to be into Bridgerton. It's not like generally my genre. And then everybody was talking about it, so I was like, I'll give it a try. And I binged it.
Yeah, Shonda Rhimes, number one, Shonda Rhimes knows how to make a show.
Uh-huh.
Unequivocally, Shonda Rhimes knows how to make a hit.
Yeah.
Number two, it's that I think it was also something with timing too, because it was the escape of a period piece when we were locked in our homes.
Yeah, and nobody was getting anything romantic, and it was so interesting and romantic off the bat, and then it got very not romantic. But it was this like fluttery, like ooh, like drama that you're not like experiencing any excitement in your life because everybody was locked inside.
The mix of Jane Austen and Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
You know, is amazing. And then I everything about it was done perfectly, right down to the score that was like the chamber quartet playing pop music, but as classical music, is just so lovely. Like everything about it was just so lovely.
Yeah.
It was good timing.
Yeah, very interesting.
Here it is.
Yes, this.
I've been waiting literally my whole life for this.
I'm so excited.
Sandman, first look.
Let's watch music.
Tonight we will achieve what no
really
one
quick
has
as it
even
comes up.
attempted. We will summon and imprison death.
Straight from issue 1.
I give you a coin made from a stone. And I give you a feather pulled from an angel's wing. And I give you the blood from my vein.
God, look at those special effects.
They're doing it, man. They're pulling no punches.
Death has family.
I also watched this so many times.
Destiny. God. Despair.
Which one have I got?
Dream. You're gonna need all the help you can get.
Oh, he looks perfect.
Straight out of the comic.
That's literally from issue 1 of the comics.
Yeah. Absolutely bananas.
I
can't wait to see the rest of the cast. There's so much good cast in that.
I am so freaking excited.
Me too.
They released some character posters too. Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. Yeah, here we go.
Ugh, so cool.
How good is that?
So good.
There's Dream. There's Death.
Yes. Absolutely.
Desire.
Absolutely.
So good. It's so good.
I'm so excited.
I love that they got Tywin Lannister, Charles Dance.
Yeah.
Probably just for that bit.
Yeah.
So fucking good. I can't believe it's real. I can't believe it's real and it looks that good. Like,
honestly, unbelievable. They did it so right. Netflix, honestly, has earned so much goodwill in these adaptations of these, like, kind of niche nerd franchises. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess the first one they really knocked us out with was The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I'm trying to think of what came before that adaptation-wise.
Yeah.
I think it was The Witcher.
I think it was probably The Witcher, yeah.
Role of, like, fucking excellent adaptations back to back to back to back. Umbrella Academy is one of my favorite shows.
They did a cute thing. We're not going to show it, but they did a cute thing with the Umbrella Academy cast for season where they did a Q&A with them for TUDUM. Yeah,
sure.
TUDUM.
Yeah.
Ta-da. And it was very lovely, but you should go watch it. It was great. That cast, gosh. Okay, you want to talk about how Reggie John Page is like physically just physical perfection. The cast of the Umbrella Academy they put all their points into charisma.
Yeah.
Every single person on that cast is like, every time they speak, I'm rapt.
Yeah.
They're just, how dare
How
dare
dare.
people be that cool?
Yeah. They're
How
all
da-
really cool.
They're so cool. They're so fucking cool.
But of course they are.
Of course they are. They're Umbrella
Y'all,
Academy.
they were cast to be in Gerard Way's comic book show. We got an official trailer for Arcane. That, of course, is the League of Legends animated series. Very interesting.
It looks
When I was
great.
a kid, me and my sister, we played a game where we pretended to chase monsters away.
So wild, man. It looks good.
It looks absolutely beautiful. And
They
it's very cinematic.
they are sparing
Real monsters.
no expense on this stuff.
It's interesting that
have to
I
find
didn't,
her.
when it was announced, expect it to be so dramatic. But I'm into it.
Oh, a lot of the League of Legends lore is very too edgy, too spooky, which is good.
Outsiders are leaving the Undercity further behind.
Golly.
I believe I've discovered something incredible. A way to harness magic through science.
Like how?
Don't understand what
Come
you're
on.
saying. Power doesn't
Honestly-
come to those who were born strongest. It
Honestly
comes to
rude for a video game adaptation to be this good.
Yeah, right?
anything to achieve it.
Honestly rude.
I can see this landing for the people who grew up with Avatar: The Last Airbender and are now adults,
100%.
right?
100%.
I think that was made kind of for us in this, like, ooh, we grew up on this kind of, like, very softened version of, like, a magical fantasy world. And, like,
Then we have to go in by
Yeah.
force.
This definitely is catering to that audience. I mean, it's obviously catering to the core audience.
yeah. But, like, as somebody who's never played League of Legends
Yeah.
and doesn't know the lore, I
This
look
looks
at this
great.
and I'm like, oh, I'm in. Absolutely.
Fans of high fantasy, fans
Yeah.
of anime, like this is, look,
I have to try.
this is just the first step for League of Legends. I mean, arguably they've taken those first steps already with things like KDA and things like that, but as far as like big media push to the mainstream,
Beautiful.
this is it. This is their first step into the mainstream.
The art style is so interesting to me because it's got this, like,
It's the 3D 2D.
it's the 3D 2D that hits almost Borderlands without being as cartoony as Borderlands.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
It's- it's
it
really
has a lot of the, like,
smooth.
shapes that Borderlands has without those, like, harsh lines.
Yeah, they're using the 3D geometry, but then they're using like very painterly textures and like facial animations.
Yeah.
And not in a way that makes it like when something like that happens, it could lean too far into motion comic. You know,
agree.
but this does not look like that. It's very somebody's mentioning Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, definitely. It's got that. It has that mix of 3D and 2D where they really sort of they understand the source medium.
Yeah.
I think it looks fascinating. And once again, I don't play League of Legends either.
Right.
But I'm very excited for this.
The next thing that we got here was Vikings coming to Netflix, which is very, very interesting.
It's cool because now maybe people will watch Vikings.
And everybody I know who's watched Vikings fucking loved it.
Everybody loves it, but it's on the History Channel and nobody knows when it's on.
Mike's still in the chat, right? Mike, didn't you watch Vikings? I want to say Mike was watching Vikings.
Everybody I know who's watched Vikings has watched it on a plane because it's like available on the plane and they're like, "Oh, I've been meaning to watch that."
Yeah. Someone said my wife loved Vikings. My dad loves Vikings.
Listen,
We got two. My dad loves Vikings. It's because
it's the History Channel.
History Channel.
It's the History Channel. Your dad was probably watching something about like probably watching a 3-hour World War II documentary.
Yeah.
And Vikings
up
came
next.
on afterwards.
Yeah.
My grandfather, rest his soul, used to say to me when he was like nearly blind and deaf, he would be like, Scheinkind, put the fights on the TV. And I'd be like, Grandpa, I don't think there are any fights on TV tonight. He's like, okay. If there are no fights on the TV, put on the History Channel. Maybe people are hitting each other. And I'd say, all right. No, it looks like the History Channel is not about that right now, Grandpa. There's nobody fighting. There's no shooting. He's like, see if one of the channels has the animals fighting. And so I'd put on like the Nature Channel. I'd be like, yeah, here you go, Grandpa. Here are some animals fighting.
Wild man.
He was a wild man. He was a wild. He was tough until he wasn't, and he was still angry.
Wow. All right.
So it's like he would be on the History Channel. He was the person I imagine watching whatever pops up on the History Channel.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's very exciting. This is called Vikings Valhalla because that word's not used enough in media. There's not enough things called Valhalla.
No, it's like it's like the reason why they called Towerfall is like when I asked them, they were like every game has either tower or fall in it.
Yeah.
And then when they did the DLC, they called it Towerfall Ascension because they were like every video game calls their DLC Ascension.
Yeah. The next thing that we got was something very interesting that wasn't really on my radar, which was About the Chestnut Man.
About the Chestnut Man.
It is an adaptation of a crime novel.
Yo, Scandinavians fucking love crime stories. They love it. Your Danes and your Swedes, they love it. They love a serial killer. They love moodiness. They do a procedural like no one does a procedural.
Very interesting. Sounds a little loud to me.
God, they love a procedural. So this is a behind-the-scenes featurette.
It was an inside look at it. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm definitely intrigued.
Netflix has been buying a lot of like a lot of foreign shows, either dubbing or subbing them. And like when you go deep into that, I was shocked at like how much like Turkish TV, Mexican TV, obviously like Korean TV, Japanese TV are all over Netflix, and the shows all look good.
Yeah.
Like they all look good. I just can't subtitle.
Hey,
because I'm doing other things and I'm just like, you know.
Hey, can somebody explain to me what the fuck Squid Game is and why everybody as soon as it already was somebody was talking about it. What the fuck is Squid Game? Is it a horror movie?
People have been telling me to watch Squid Game.
Is it a horror series? People have been telling me to watch Squid Game but telling me nothing about it. It keeps trending and shit. Wait, don't leave. We need to look at the rest of the trailers.
I'm not leaving.
Don't go.
I'm not going.
Don't go.
Squid Game. Oh, okay. Hundreds of cash-strapped players accept a strange invitation to compete in children's games. Inside, a tempting prize awaits with deadly... Of course we like this!
Yeah, I thought it was an actual reality show, but it's not.
No! Oh, I gotta watch a Squid Game. And of course, because, self-aware can opener says it's about capitalism. Of course, because it's Korean, it's about capitalism.
Yeah.
All Korean TV, when I was growing up, was very, like... classist, but like unaware that it was classist. Like all of their romances and everything were extremely classist.
Okay.
It was always like, I was poor and I went to this school and you were rich and you didn't pay attention to me, but now I am successful and you don't remember that it's me. You don't remember meeting me, but it is me, and now we're in love.
Okay.
And there's no problem with that. Like, you know.
Sure.
But now they're very like aware that was all of their media. And so they're kind of inverting it, and I love that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see this next trailer.
It's back, babies.
It's back, babies. Tiger King Season 2 was announced the day before. They just put out a tweet that was like, by the way, there's a Season 2.
What?
I'm all in. It's trash, and I'm there. It's trash, and I'm there.
Do we want...
Yep.
So, like...
Yeah. I want to dig into whether or not Carol Baskins killed her husband.
Yeah.
I want to investigate. I want to understand. I want to focus more on Joe Exotic's crimes. Because they were just like, and by the way, he's in prison. No. Give me all that guilty.
Why? What he do? I also, like, do you remember the first couple episodes of Tiger King? They were setting up that one guy to be, like, the voice of reason, and then it's like, oh, no, he's a cult leader. And he was all like, you can't treat animals like this. You got to be kinder to them. You have to have a real degree.
Like, but I changed these women's names.
Yeah.
But the women that work here, I change their names.
I get a new daughter wife every 5 years.
I take in a new 18-year-old woman and I change her name and I let her live here, and they work 24 hours a day.
I was like,
it wasn't just a cult leader. That was trafficking.
I was like, no, there is no voice of reason.
I never thought he was the voice of reason the second he came on.
No,
I was
he
like-
had a creepiness to him and like a condescendingness to him where I was like,
The second he showed up,
I was like, I don't like him.
that guy fucks tigers. Second he showed up, that was my first thought. That guy fucks tigers.
That guy fucks the tigers.
No, I don't like it.
You can't fuck. Now.
I said what I said.
Now.
It's a
Tiger.
vibe.
No, I mean, I'm not about that. I'm resetting. I'm resetting myself. I'm resetting my vibe. I'm resetting everything because it's here.
It's here. Music.
Yep. Boom, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, this opening is pitch perfect. Fucking no notes. Fucking no notes. Oh my
It's beautiful.
lord.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh my lord.
All we got was the opening credits. We didn't get any other kind of like trailer. We got the opening credits, and I'm stoked for it. It looks excellent. God,
I
I'm
told
extremely
you
excited.
I told you that the little hole in the wall gym that I used to go to in my neighborhood, John Cho used to go.
Really?
And we had met once because of the Star Wars show. So we would always like, friendly wave or whatever. But like he started going like every day and it was right around when he would have been like up for this role. And he was like getting ripped. John Cho is fucking ripped for this.
Yeah.
There's he is. There's Ein. Ugh. This is going to be so fucking good.
Yeah,
Look at
this looks
Faye. Fucking look at Faye. Here's what I love. Here's what I love. They were not afraid to just go like, we gotta yank that male gaze off of Faye a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We still want her to be the femme fatale because this is still a noir
Yep.
story. But what if she just looked cooler?
Yeah.
What if she just looked fucking cooler?
Right.
Shit, man. I can't wait. Yeah, a lot of people are like, where's Ed? Where's Ed? I think we're going to see Ed. I think they're keeping Ed a secret. And I bet whatever kid they got to play Ed, I bet is fucking dope as shit.
Yeah. Man, there's so much
There's so
in
much
here.
stuff.
They're doing another season of Emily in Paris for some reason.
Emily in Paris. It rhyme.
I don't care.
Do you remember when Netflix was like, it's supposed to rhyme, and they did like a whole thing about it, and we were all like, we don't care. This show is vapid as fuck.
Yeah, that show was deeply unneeded. Of course, we also
Crown.
got The Crown season 5. We just
Yep.
got a message. We didn't get like a trailer for it.
Prequel to Army of the Dead, the Zack
Army of
Snyder.
Thieves.
Yep. Thieving, no zombie.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
There's
Colin
a
Kaepernick.
Documentary that's very interesting.
I'm pretty excited to see that.
Okay, the next thing that really interested me, there was a Big Mouth poster release.
Love
and that was it.
Big Mouth.
Inside Job looks like it's in that kind of same vein. They're doing another adult cartoon.
Yep.
It's about employees of the deep state.
Now this is.
This is the one I was scrolling to.
Yeah.
This is a movie, a Netflix movie, and we were talking about the biggest of big stars before. No. This is a movie starring Meryl Streep, who should be first credited here. Fuck you all.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Rob Morgan, and Jonah Hill.
It's apparently a comedy about a comet that's going to hit the Earth.
Yeah.
And these are the people in the government that are trying to figure out what to do.
It happened. They got Meryl and Leonardo on fucking Netflix. That's huge.
This is wild. It's wild that we're looking at this and that it is on Netflix.
I'll watch anything Meryl Streep's in.
One thing I will say
How does it
is you
get-
can tell that with all the money they spent on these people,
Mm-hmm.
they pulled back a little on production costs.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely a very run and gun movie compared to what these people are usually in.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Jennifer Lawrence in Mini Bangs, fascinating. We haven't seen her in a hot minute.
No.
What was the last thing that Jennifer Lawrence was in? I'm sure there were
Oh.
things that we just didn't watch too.
There was something very recently, but like, you know, she comes out when she wants to now.
Yeah.
She's just kicking back on so many checks now.
Yeah.
She's got those passengers checks.
Yes, passengers. That's where all of the money's coming from. Passengers.
She recently got married and had a child, so she probably took a little bit of a sabbatical.
I didn't know she had a kid.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea. I remember Red Sparrow. Yeah.
So this is, I mean, the thing about this, the story about this is that it's happening on Netflix.
Yeah.
Is it the greatest movie? Who knows? It doesn't have to be. The
doesn't have
story
to be.
the story is that these are people that do Netflix movies now. Netflix is real.
And Meryl Streep is there, so of course it'll be good.
We're in real debt forever. But people are doing this.
They are doing another season of Enola Holmes.
Exciting.
Exciting. That's great. I didn't watch it.
It's cute.
I didn't.
It's
I
cute.
didn't. And then we got just a slew of Witcher clips. I'm so excited.
Let's show Geralt and Ciri.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
Let's show that one.
Let's do it.
You know, Ciri, of course,
Roaches by the gate. If anyone else leaves this place, ride for your life.
teeny bits of the first season, but
She was just a child.
she was
there.
she was a
big
child, but
part
she
of
was,
it. She was just small.
she was just small, and they weren't together really yet, and
Yeah.
you know, like it wasn't the thing yet.
It was
and
two
now,
separate stories.
yeah, and now they're together in the same place, and it's all really happening.
It's all happening.
She looks good. She looks like Ciri. I love the casting of the whole show.
I love it.
Now, this is a clip from season 2. Netflix has also announced that it has been renewed for a season 3 before season 2 is out. So that's exciting. Henry Cavill, man. I just wish we hadn't done him so dirty as Superman. But I'm glad that led to him being the Witcher. Because he is perfect.
He's perfect.
He is just perfect. In addition to these clips from season 3, or from season 2, we got the announcement of season 3. We also got an announcement that we're gonna get another of the anime, the Witcher animated series.
Yes.
But above and beyond that, they're making a Witcher series for the kids.
They are, which is so fascinating. They really looked at this and they said, okay, Harry Potter's out.
Where's our universe?
Where's our universe? And I think they wanted it to be Avatar first, and then Avatar split off into what they're making of Avatar Studios, a bunch of content for Paramount Plus, because obviously Netflix had done the live action.
Yep.
And they were like, we need our fantasy universe. What can we have that can replace Harry Potter for something? And I feel like they're pushing for it to be The Witcher. And
I think
I'm not
so.
against it. I mean, The Witcher's a very dark world, so I never would have thought of it as a kid's series.
No, but I mean, there's so many. I mean, it makes sense with all the books and everything. Like, there's the lore is there, the world is there. You know, everybody's looking for their Marvel, their Lord of the Rings, their Game of Thrones.
Right.
They want that. They want that big franchise.
They described it as a kids and family series, which by describing it as kids and family, I'm intrigued by that of it being like, hey, but you'll be able to watch it too. That's what it says to me.
Yeah.
Is it's like something you can watch with your kids.
You know, for the kids.
And maybe you. We got a bunch of clips. We got a first look at Nivellen. I think that's how his name is said.
Yeah, it's this is wild. The Witcher being this big is not something I would have bet on, like you were saying. Like, it definitely had the potential, but I never thought there would be a studio that would bet this big on The Witcher.
I love it.
I love
it.
It's pretty amazing.
Thank you, Daddy Netflix.
Thank you, Daddy Netflix.
We're very happy about it.
So that's sort of the big stuff from TUDUM.
That's the big stuff. Like we said, go ahead and go watch that that Q&A with the Umbrella Academy, because that was really lovely.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm very excited.
The Umbrella
about it.
Academy is amazing.
I cannot wait for another season.
Great comic, and I think it's an even better show than it was a comic in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So that's everything from Netflix. Netflix, the big, if you want to look at the forest level takeaway from this, is Netflix is big enough now to do their own upfronts. Studios do upfronts. TV networks do upfronts. This is a huge thing in the industry. So for Netflix to be this big and to be taking control of it that big, and for them to have announcements that are big enough to have their own upfronts,
Yeah.
Netflix, it's big. Which also reminds me, hey, if you're in LA, and even if you're not, show a little support for your union members, your union crew members.
Yeah.
Right now, the IATSE is voting to go on strike on October 1st. Remember that as you're seeing all of these wonderful things about, oh my gosh, Netflix has enough money for Leonardo DiCaprio and Meryl Streep, we want to make sure that these places also have enough money for their PAs, their gaffers, their grips, their camera ops to all work normal days for a good amount of money.
Right.
Be able
That
to
crew
rest.
is overworked and underpaid and exhausted making all of these things that we know and love. Meryl Streep gets the love for being on screen that she deserves.
But who gets the love for being on set for 19 and a half hours a day?
Keeping these people safe, keeping them
happy,
literally
making them look
building
good.
the world that you see in front of you.
Yeah,
So,
going home, taking a nap, turning around, and going right back to work for a 6 a.m. call. A lot of this has to do with new media, the strike, because in order to create new media and create new media jobs, the union kind of was like, well, we'll take a weird deal just to get this going.
Right, which
We'll take a
things
weird
like Netflix, things like Hulu should not be even considered in that vein. They were like, oh, we're just making internet stuff. No, we're just making internet stuff.
We're making internet stuff.
We're making internet stuff.
You have Leonardo
You're
DiCaprio.
making television. You're making blockbuster film.
And it's time to pay the people that work on digital productions like they are working on the productions that they're working on. If Aaron Sorkin is producing your show, if Jason Sudeikis just won the Emmy for Best Performer in your show, you can pay your fucking crew.
And you can let them go home at a reasonable hour.
So think about that. Save it.
Okay. Well then. That's about all the time we have today.
That's about all the time we have.
It's a great note to
BBs.
leave it on. We love you very much, BBs. Thank you so much for starting your day off with us. Of course, we do this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So
Of course we
hope
do.
we will see you on Wednesday. And Friday is the first day of October.
Oh, spooky season.
Right. It starts then.
I mean, for the world. I would say that there's Orthodox spooky,
Okay.
Reform spooky,
Uh-huh.
and then conservative spooky.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Am I Orthodox spooky then in that?
Or I'm sorry, Orthodox, conservative, reform.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I'm sort of a conservative spooky.
Uh-huh.
You are definitely an Orthodox spooky.
Yeah, I live by it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's a
have
way of life.
There are spooky rules that you take into account every day.
Yeah, of course. Hey, Maybon already happened.
Listen, Maybon happened. Did you call your mom?
It's autumn, babies.
It's
Anyways,
for October 1st.
thank you everybody so much for supporting us today. There are a bunch of ways you could do so. The first one you already did by showing up and watching the show. We make a show so that you will watch it. So you've already given us the greatest gift that you can. Except for maybe these things that are coming up. We want to thank everybody who supported us during today's show with follows, with subs, with bits that make Anthony go ah, ta, ta, ta,
I don't know
because he
what
doesn't
you're talking
understand
about.
how the tip jar
What
works.
do you even mean? Are you wearing contacts today?
I am.
Do you want to read some of the names?
Never do. No, you're so good at it. Go ahead.
Amor FXDA, thank you for the follow. Hattie B14, thank you for the follow. Alonzo with so many bits. Stamp 1646 with the bits. Black Ghost 1142. Gru EXE, thank you for following. Tom Biden with the bits. Goochman Twitch, Mike with the gift subs, as always, very generous. 54 Aquasnakes with bits. Kaylin Roar gifting the sub to Hello Goodberry. They're trapped now. Addy Theus is resubscribing for 2 months now.
Thank you for coming
Thank you for coming back.
back.
Of course, Hello Goodberry with the raid earlier. DM2497, Janelle Santa Cruz, thank you for the follow. Kaylin Roar gifting a sub to Play Games Patty. Welcome, Play Games Patty. You're trapped. There is no key. There is no way out. Kinda Creature with the resub for 3 months. JFK Lives On has followed.
We got hella bits from Alonzo, from Kurt, from 54 Aqua Snakes, from Mama Faraday, from Alonzo, from Kurt, Patrick Johansson with the follow. Thank you very much. More bits from Alonzo and from Anonymous.
Pimtastic with the resub for 3 months. Kaylin Roar with the gift subs. Flumperton has followed. Dio Ju has followed. Brad Jost, the Chaos Theory. Thank you for the follows. Nadia Bean with the gift sub to Spilled Genie. And then
we're going to ignore all of those.
Okay, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, everyone. So thank you. You know, maybe you already sub, you already follow, you've already donated, or maybe you don't have any interest in doing any of that, but you enjoy the show anyway.
That's okay, too.
That's great, too. Money is a weird and strange thing, and I hate that we have to have it. So if you'd like to help us, though, since we are, unlike Netflix, an internet show, an independent internet show. Ta-da! Ta-da! If you'd like to help us out, there are a couple ways that you can do that. Number one, join the Discord. Just become part of the beautiful, beautiful group of BBs that is hanging out and chatting every day. Number two, maybe retweet when you see we go live. Maybe share a clip if you can, or subscribe to us on YouTube. You know, we put every show up on YouTube now.
We sure do.
You can send your friends who don't do Twitch or aren't up this early.
Yep.
Send them the YouTube version of the show. Let them watch it. Maybe they like it too. Then it slowly spreads. Slower as we recruit more and more people.
Yep.
And then, eventually, we have the largest army on the internet. And we move forward with that army to destroy everything. We will tear it all down.
We also posted a bonus clip over on Patreon on Friday where we watched the Muppets Haunted Mansion trailer, and then I also gave my review of the new Cinderella movie because I watched that all in one. That starts at $5 a month for access to clips like that. We do them every week.
Every week.
Every week. Very exciting. Thank you to everybody who has supported us, doing things like donating during the show. Literally let us get donuts after the show. That's kind of the main thing.
Yeah, sugar breakfast.
We don't get paid to do this.
We don't get paid.
We do it for freezies and for fun. So donations are the things that
I ain't even got a job.
Supply Topo Chico and donuts.
So what? So what?
Anyways, be sure to go follow Anthony everywhere on the internet at Carboni, except for here on Twitch, where it's at Anthony Carboni Twitch. Give it back to him, you cowards. And also catch his science comedy podcast on Fridays called We Have Concerns with Jeff Kanata. What did you talk about last week? The most recent one.
Last week we talked about potty training cows to end the greenhouse effect.
Wow.
It's a good show about good science. And of course, Saige is everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. And oh, my stars and garters, if you can't just find her in a ton of places, you can find her probably later today on Smosh Games. Is that correct?
That is correct for Board AF.
You can find her Wednesdays on the Mad Cave Studios channel talking comics. You can also find her on the D&D channel on Thursdays for the Black Dice Society. And then she's here on Saturday nights doing Dungeons, Dice, and Everything Nice.
Damsels Dice.
Damsels, Dice, and Dungeons, and Nice, and Diners and Drive-Ins.
You almost got it. I'm going to call it close enough. It was a pretty good
Diners,
outro.
Drive-Ins, Dungeons, and Depression.
I'm all around. Don't worry about it. I do have that sweater. I love you all very much. Thank you once again, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Dungeons, Depression, Dives, Dreams, Desire,